Welcome back to another week on the Sisters Chat. This week,
Hi.
we feel like so whole and full because we're actually the full group of sisters. We are so excited to introduce the oldest of us all, our big sister, Runya Wagner, who is the
Woo!
Chabad USC. Runya, give everyone a big wave. Everyone has
Excited to
been
be here.
waiting to meet the sister who is really too busy to join on a weekly basis, but we are so thrilled and excited to share her with you today. So we're going to do a quick catch up and then we're going to dive in, spotlight Runya a bit, the amazing work she does, touch a bit on life on shluchas. Runya lives, like I just said, about at USC. She is a trailblazer for campus shluchais, but the rest of us have our fair share of shluchas life. Adla lived in New Jersey, commuting back and forth. Then Mushki was in California. I live in a small town in Corpus Christi. Hesha Mnucha always visiting everybody. So we're going to give you today the real deal, life on shluchas, and the ups and downs and everything in between. But let's just catch up, and then we're going to dive right in. Adla, how are you doing today?
Well, first of all, Nini, happy birthday. Today is
Hello.
Nini's birthday. She is a certain age old, but she doesn't look it. And we're sorry we're not there to celebrate with you in person, but like a Sisters Chat episode on your birthday is pretty good quality sister time.
My
Hashtag
sister-in-law Miriam, actually, shout out to Miriam, literally said, Nini, what are you doing for your birthday? For bringing on the podcast? I said, actually, yes.
Actually, yes. So we're having a Farbrengen for Nini's birthday, but we need to do like a food episode after. So that's a huge deal. But the problem is when you get older, then I'm your older sister. So then I get older. So it's like the
How do you think
step
that
before
makes me feel? I'm the much older sister.
I didn't say this podcast was going to be easy for you, Rania. Nini sends me a message. I'm 38. You're turning 40. I'm like, hey, Nini, it's like 6 in the morning. Like, could you like give me something a little slower? And I didn't need that information so fast. But happy birthday.
No, but age is just a number. It's really how you feel and how you act. It doesn't mean anything.
And this girl is going to give us all the tips of how to stay young and feel young and operate like you're 21. So we can't wait to hear all that. But yes, thank you. It was my birthday and we had a great time celebrating. My girls made me the cutest surprise party all on their own. And we did a little Starbucks run because that's as good as kosher food as we get. And it's nice to celebrate, but it's nice to be back. But I cut you out, Adla. Continue. Any news in the Blasevsky family?
No, we're celebrating the end of, fall or beginning of winter. And with the time change and all that stuff, the days getting shorter. And I don't know, I get winter blues. Do California people get winter blues? I'm actually curious. We have two Californians on there, or is that strictly like if you live in a cold space?
I don't think we get winter blues because it's beautiful out, but I think having it get dark early does put a damper on things. At 5 o'clock, it's pitch black outside. So you want to go to bed by 9.
I come home at 5 and
By
it's dark and it's
9,
cold.
by 7.
We had a fun week, and people have been sending us their budgeting pictures all week and how this tip helped them and that. So that's my favorite part of the week when we get that feedback. And I love it. So we might even do a second episode on that one day. Get excited.
That's so
Mushki.
awesome. So Mushki,
I'm
we
like,
know
no one's been sending me thank you for your hacks. It's been very quiet on my end.
Well, you did your big artisan bakehouse
That's
event.
true. And ask me what I'm doing tomorrow, Runya.
What are you doing tomorrow?
Oh my gosh, I never thought you'd ask.
you share. You
Um,
share.
okay, I have these cards. When you see these little cards, get nervous. I'm introducing Charlene Aminoff at a big challah bake tomorrow at the
Oh, wow.
kosher.com studio.
Oh, that's cool.
which
That's
is
pretty
very
nice.
exciting because she was on my vision board. And then 2 months after I made this vision board, this was last year, I got a text saying, do you want to come do a challah big with Charlene? And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. It really works. And then when the excitement wore off, I read it again last year and it said, do you want to just come to a challah bake and just like kind of be part of the audience? So just like challah, things take a little time. But this year they said, do you want to do the challah bake with Charlene and introduce her? So it's very exciting.
So last year you invited me to go to the challah bake, and when you said, "Do you want to come to a challah bake?" I'm like, "Oh, you're hosting it? I'll take off work." You're like, "No, just to sit near me in the audience."
Well,
And I'm
I
like,
I think I called you first when I thought I was actually doing it. I was like, Ayla, do you want to come be supportive? And then
Like VIP.
yeah, yeah. But Ayla helped me write my speech. So it's very exciting. She sat down with me and I'm gonna take all the credit, so that's always, fun too.
yes,
Well,
that's what big
that's so
sisters
fun.
do.
And we
We let
can't
you
wait
take
to
the
hear
credit.
next week how that challah bake went
I-
and see all of the Hesha. Henny's back with you.
She's
How
always
was your
gonna be
week?
here. Apparently she's like too hard to go to bed. We're still like in like the sunset scaries where all of a sudden she's like a different person at night where she wakes up the whole community. That is why she's here with us tonight, but thankfully she's sleeping, so hopefully she doesn't sleep throughout the episode. But honestly, I feel like daylight savings I was not expecting like the hard transition. I'm like on New York time practically. I'm like up at like at 4 or 5 a.m. With the kiddies. So even though I know it's 6 o'clock here, I am on your time. So I am just as tired as you ladies. But
Well, hopefully you'll cash in a little extra sleep now that we just established that it gets dark early, and hopefully this cute little baby will sleep through the episode and a little bit later. Manucha, you're looking cute. How are you feeling? Anything new this week?
Oh, not much going on. We had a busy week at work last week, but now it's quiet again. So I am back to editing the podcasts. you know,
What if someone from work listens? Shh.
this is really my full-time job, if you're wondering. This is what I'm busy doing. But it's been good. We're getting used to this daylight saving, like everyone said yesterday. I think I was in bed by 7:30. But it's been nice, pulling out the winter coats and sweaters, which is my season, which I'm liking. It's pretty calm over here.
I needed a new sweater. So, because I have a big meeting tomorrow. So, just an hour ago, you don't even know this, I grabbed mommy from her house. I said, Ma, come help me shop on
I
Kingston.
did know this.
Anyway,
You,
turns
Oh,
you
out
took my tip. She told me. Of
that
course
was
I
that
know.
was Manuka's
I
hat.
took Manuka's tip. I took mommy along, but I'm so bad at the tip. Look how bad it ended. I came home with nothing from the store and just three of mommy's old sweaters that I came home with. And Mendy said, that looked like a successful trip. I think like mommy's old sweater. So it kind of was the tip. I forgot, but I did it really bad. When I have to wear the same thing at work tomorrow, you'll know why.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. And I thought you were going to say that you totally lost, like misread the hack and you bought mommy a sweater instead. So it was an
No,
extra
I
sweater
saved so much
benefit for
money.
you.
I took sweaters from mommy. I don't think that was what the hack was, but that's what ended up happening.
Something
Extra
got lost in
thrifty. You're
translation.
really on a budget.
I'm going to listen again.
Okay, and now I'm super excited to introduce Runya. Welcome, Runya Wagner. Just can't say hi, give us maybe an exciting update or how excited that you're here, and then we're going to give a full rundown of who you are and how amazing you are. So, welcome,
Very
Runya.
excited to be here. It's funny because growing up, I think mommy didn't want me hanging around you guys because, like, when she walked with you, everyone thought she only had little kids. And when I came along, it's me and then three boys before you. It was like, oh my gosh, where are all these big kids come from? So I'm excited
So
to be
you're a
here.
family secret.
Exactly. It's kind of funny. Actually, just this morning, a shlucha messaged me saying how she's like, you should know I love your sisters. They're my guilty pleasure listening to their podcast. How
Aw.
come you're not on it? And I said, oh, I don't have time, but you should know tonight I'll be on there. So look out for it.
Well, we're so excited, and so is everyone else. It's not like fully complete without you here. So this is so amazing. So just a little back note, Runya has been on Shluchas for, is it 25 years?
Yeah, it's our 26th school year.
26 school year.
Wow.
Chabad at USC at University of Southern California. And ever since we've been in high school, we've been going. We used to go every Sukkot and Pesach, and really like that was our hot
No one
spot.
could forget when you guys dressed up with the statue of Lulav E in front of that sukkah with hands up.
Was Agla the original before people had printed sweatshirts or T-shirts? They made their own. I think I was in SEM that year, but those pictures.
Me and
Yeah,
Mushki, we took green sheets and we stood there and we did mitzvah lulav like no one ever done before.
I'm
Exactly. Such fun times.
I think Rania, you're really good at like making your shluchas fun. Like I think that's what's part of it. Like it's
We
not
try.
it's a job, but it's like the whole family is involved, and always trying to bring that fun aspect.
But the amazing thing is back from the first year where we went, and it was me and Adla in a tiny little trailer at the backside of campus, to then, the first house, and then to see now, thank God, they just renovated a beautiful building over the past few years. And we were just there celebrating Runya's daughter's bas mitzvah. And it was her first simcha in the Chabad house. And it was just wow to come back and just see the growth. I mean, we always, we know that you're hosting 300 students a week, which is like beyond unbelievable. Like we say it like casual, like, yeah, 300 students every Friday night. Like, no, that's not the norm. That's just super womanly amazing. But to come there and to see the dining room that could host that, and just the kitchen, the vibe, it was just amazing for us who have, at least for me, who has come and spent so much time there. So it's awesome. So we wanted for you to talk about a little bit more life on campus, and how 25 years later, like, how does that feel? We'll all maybe ask one question. I'll start. What would you tell your older self, going out 25 years ago? What piece of advice that, after all these years, what would you tell your younger self going out, like a good piece of advice?
So it's actually funny because I think when we first started, I would say I was probably more courageous or tried a lot new things because you just want to be able to meet people and keep trying things and see what works. Nowadays, in a way, it's like tried and true, and you're like, oh, I know that just doesn't work. But I think I would just tell myself to be patient and enjoy the moment and like what stage I'm at. Because like when you're just starting out, you just keep wanting to grow and to keep meeting more people. And when we first came, there weren't that many Jews on campus, so it's like if you had 5 people for Shabbat dinner, that was huge. And like at that time, it's like, oh, how are we gonna meet more people? People are gonna, only want to come if they see an exciting event or something big. But the funny thing is that when it was smaller, sometimes I feel like we probably had such close connections to those people and built such amazing relationships. And like those people actually grew and so much more in a way from those small events. Baruch Hashem, it's amazing to have this big community, and that also is so amazing, like the pride and the excitement. But I think, don't feel like you always have to push for something else. Actually, also appreciate where you are in the moment. And a lot of times, like with family, different dynamics are going on. Sometimes you have a baby and things are a little slower, or you're pregnant, you're not feeling well, or different things in the family. And things are always up and down, but to not like to actually just appreciate where you are and to see like whatever you're at, like that's what it's meant to be. and not to get upset, because especially on campus, every semester things can change. So like if one thing's, a little slower one, the next one could just pick right back up.
I want to, at this moment, just give a shout out to one of your OGs, Runya, Rachel. She knows who she is. She listens. And, she is one of those original students from the original five. And she feels like she's part of the family, like a seventh sister. So if she's listening to this one, which I think she
Rachel
is,
is in Kansas.
Rachel in Kansas, she's an
We
active
miss her.
podcaster.
That is so awesome. And Runya, just, we're saying that you're there 25 years and you kind of have a massive operation. So before I let everyone ask you a question, let everyone know what's your typical day, week, like, your current situation, your busyness. What's your current month like, events, calendar, like your schedule
Sure.
of your
So
day?
every day is actually different. It starts with carpool, because we don't live in a frum community. And even though we're in LA, we're kind of like outside LA, we're near downtown, and we're not really far away, and it's, without traffic, it could be only 20 minutes, but with traffic, the morning, it could take about 45 minutes to close to an hour, many times, most days. So it always starts with that. And then we usually have a lunch and learn every single day of the week. So between the medical school, the dental school, the law school, the main campus, most evenings we have an event between either a lunch and learn, I mean, not a lunch and learn, it's lunch, a dinner and discussion, a different class, a speaker. Actually, tomorrow we're hosting, she was a hostage, Moran Stella Yanai, who was a hostage in Gaza. So that's a big event. We have challah bakes every Thursday. And then during the day, it's trying to, prepare for the different events, the different classes. Also, we do a lot of, behind the scenes. So it's just computer work, dealing just with, getting the events, the website, the QuickBooks. Every Chabad house has to fundraise on their own. So dealing just with like donors and fundraising and data entry. And then also we'll be tabling on campus. So we'll sit at a table and just meet people and hang out. And a lot of times people call you for questions. So it's a lot of phone time or one-on-one meetings with students. And that's basically what a typical day is like. Oh, and lots of cooking. And Fridays is a cooking marathon to be able to get Shabbos out.
Wow.
And Runya, you also have like the big Pagisha this week, right? I'm excited. I'm hosting Runya
Yeah.
students for the first time.
Thank you so much. You actually hosted when you were in construction and you weren't living.
I forgot, but already just today, like 3 people reached out. I'm like, sorry, sisters first.
Always.
Yeah, so recruiting for different events is always a big thing. Exactly. We also have once a year Shabbat 1000, which we usually typically get like 1,200 students, and that takes quite a bit of preparation for.
No.
And just the fun parties and events, trying to get them off of the ground.
That's amazing. I'm happy I get to speak to you in between the carpooling of different things. But yes, definitely full on busy and nonstop. We want to hear a bit more, but I want each sister to kind of ask you what they want to know most. So, Mushki, what's something you want to ask Runya?
I think one thing that makes Runya so special is how amazing she infuses her kids into the shluchos, and your kids' love for their shluchos. I remember once when Mushki was little, I think you found like a composition that she wrote, maybe it was high school, and it said, if you got $1 million, what would you do with it? And she was like, for
And she was
sure, I would give
11
it
years
to,
old.
oh, 11. It was like, for sure, Chabad at USC. And your kids, they're always like, I love Chabad at USC. And I feel like shluchim are always trying to find that balance of like integrating their kids, not making them resentful. And like, I don't even hear you struggling about it. It kind of just happens naturally. And your kids just have so much pride and love for Chabad at USC. Um, so I'd love to hear how that happens. I remember once you did a program and you ordered all these stuff in a, I don't know, blow up things, and there wasn't that many students there, and you were like, that's okay, my kids will have so much fun. And I was like, okay, maybe that's one way that she's always like, my kids will have a good time, but I want to really hear from you.
Well, it's a great question. Honestly, life family balance is a tough, it really is tough. And I do want my kids to love shluchas and not resent it. So even though we live far, I will make sure they go to every class birthday party, every event that the school has, because I don't want them to ever feel like they're missing out. And on campus, we try to actually revolve things around the kids' schedule. So a lot of times we'll do classes like in the evening after they're sleeping, like at 8 o'clock sometimes, because like then I know I could do homework with them and supper in a proper time, give them the attention that they need, and then have the class. Challah bakings we do earlier so the kids could be involved. Like you said, and sometimes we'll do craft events or fun events. And yeah, even if there's not so many people, I'll do it really fun and have my kids all be there so that they get to do the activity too. It shouldn't just be it's only for the students. Let our kids get to enjoy. When it comes to Purim, we go all out. We do themes. My kids will help pick the themes. They help pick the costumes. They help with the decorations. So it becomes like a whole family affair. Also, I feel like it's important for the kids to get their own individual time. So Friday night is actually crazy. So like the kids could like run around and do it, just they like to sit next to the students that they become friends with and they sit with them. But then Shabbos day is when it's a little smaller and that's when we'll do Dvar Torahs with them and they get to have their individual time. So they know that they're not like being shuffled to the side and they know that they're actually also getting their individual attention that they need.
That's so amazing having that like good balance. It's definitely like a work in progress. And agreed with Mushki, you do an awesome job. And your kids really have that Chabad at USC fight on Trojan pride. So that's amazing.
They love the football games.
That's a good way to
The
definitely
ones that
get them
are,
excited.
yeah, thank God we actually have someone here that works in the football we're close to. And so like when there's a Motzei Shabbos game, he'll get us tickets for the kids to go. So like they could also get that school pride.
It's so fun.
It's cute because your boys sometimes eat by us for Shabbos and they always wear their Chabad at USC yarmulkes. So Yaina keeps asking me, can I have one of those that the Menachem and Maishi are wearing? And I'm like, what is it? And I'm like, oh, they're so cute. Like they're in New York and they are wearing their Chabad yarmulkes with pride. And he's okay, I'll get you one when we come back. They're so proud of what you do.
We'll send one with the girls for Pagisha.
Okay, done. That's a deal. He's waiting for one.
What?
It's very cute.
Well, Adlon, being that you're chatting, what's something that you want to ask Runya as the sister, above you? You don't have that many older sisters.
I have one older sister and she's fabulous, but I was always bigger than her. So like it never felt like I had an older sister. I'm like,
I know. I
like,
think I come up to your shoulders.
Looks younger. That was our line always. It's not fair. So yes, Runya is my older sister. And I feel like this is something that people will be really interested when they're listening because a lot of people know what a community shluchus looks like. That's what I did for 15 years, living in, a small town somewhere, even in a big city. But campus is different because it's this little unimaginable, like secret little village that we don't usually go on. And we're not usually part of that experience. And I remember when we went, we were like, we learned all these words. Remember they used to take us and we learned about sororities and the dances. And we didn't know anything about that. But now, like, I'd love for you to like kind of explain what that's like because you live one house off Fraternity Row. And now that I'm a mother, I'm like, hey, how does that actually work when you're raising these bachrim and girls? Like, I can't even imagine that people can understand what it means. Sometimes I meet girls now, they tell me, oh, I'm going on shluchas on campus. And I'm like, do you know what that is? Like, have you ever been? Because if you're in a frum neighborhood, like you've never had that experience. But as a mother now, I'm just trying to understand, Runya, like, how do you raise your kids there? Like, and of course, like, help people understand what your like living situation is like. Like, you're in like a set almost. That's how I would imagine. It's not a real life situation. It's like a movie.
So that's a really funny question, especially because this past week, in the not, Jewish world, it was their big holiday. And so, I mean, in general, we probably have parties 2-3 nights a week outside. This weekend was insane. There was Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and Motzei Shabbos. We actually had a shliach visiting, staying over by us for Shabbos, and the party outside our house, our window was till 2:30 a.m. and he couldn't sleep, and the music was blasting, and I don't know, Berkshire, I guess I come home from the hospital with like music outside our window, so our babies just learned to sleep through it all, and so we all just went to bed, and he like was up the whole night. He said he couldn't sleep. It was so hard for him. He's like, "How do you guys handle this?" But
One is 18 to 22 around you. So like either your kids are like the only kids around and you're like the oldest person around besides for the professors. So
I'm probably now the same age as their parents, and our kids are the only kids people ever see. It's a very fake reality here. It's like everyone is just like 18 to 22 and some grad students, and that's it. And there's no neighborhood where we are. It's just the campus community, and then there's like South Central LA. It's not like there are some campuses that are like part of a community and like a college town. We're just the campus in middle of this like downtown LA. So
so is it hard
it's
to raise
kind
the
of
kids there without like the friends, or they just are part of the grown-up activities?
kids become friends with the students. And I think that they learn to like, talk like as adults and have, good social skills in that way. But it is sometimes lonely that they're far from friends, or, when their kids talk about like their friends in school talk about the different Shabbos groups or the different like community trips and things, we're not part of it. And that's a little hard for them.
But now your kids are, a lot of them are the same age. So that's pretty interesting, to be at a stage where college students were so big and so smart and so out there. And now you're like,
It's funny because when I first came, I moved here, I was 20 years old with a baby, and everyone thought I was so old. And actually, the first students I met were all seniors, so they were 22 and older than me. And like, I don't know, I guess, our grandmother, Bubby, used to always be like, my brother, the doctor, this one's in college. So you always thought that they were like these smart, brilliant people. And then you come here and you realize that they're just kids. And the funny thing is, so then I was like their age because I was 22 and everyone's the same age. And then eventually I was just a little bit older. Now I am their like parents' age, and my kids are their same age or older than that. And I think it actually changes the dynamic a little bit because now I just look at them as like kids who are away from home. And it's like, I know I send my kids away from home, and it's like, I would love someone just to be nice to them or to invite them or just to care about them or see how they're doing. And I feel like that's what we do now for the students, that like the parents are just a lot of times so grateful that their kids have a community and someone that looks out for them and makes them feel like cared for. And like if a student is sick, we bring them chicken soup. We try to check on them, just reach out, so that they know someone's looking out for them.
That's so special for them to have a home away from home. Esha, what's something that, you would love to ask Runya?
Okay, my question is, I seen your calendar and how packed it is and how you have so many activities. And I feel like campus is a little bit more dynamic than even like regular shluchas, because it's like you have like these big events nonstop. And even between semesters, you're just so busy planning the next semester, you never really have off at all. How do you have the energy? I'm I'm a little bit younger. I don't have the energy. So how do you have the energy to just be at a nonstop job?
I don't know, because people ask me, how do you have so much energy? And never looked at myself as someone with so much energy. I'm always like, I don't know, I just do it. And I mean, I sometimes maybe push myself a lot where it's like, okay, just I know that these are stuff I want to get done, so I'll push myself maybe more than I should, but I don't know, the perfectionist side of a little bit. But I never really thought of myself as so much energy. I really should just thank Hashem for giving me the energy to be able to like, keep up and keep going. I like being busy. If I'm ever bored, I don't know what to do with myself. It's like if I ever have free time, I have to find something to do because like I can't just sit around and relax. I think Ayla, you probably relate to that. like not being able to just sit around and do nothing.
100%. But Runya, you also love what you do, so that helps. Like you know, I think
It gives us
you're so
energy.
good
Like
at
doing more stuff gives you more energy to be able to do more things.
Like they say,
100%.
give
So
someone a busy person, you just end up getting more things done. The baby of us all. What do you want to ask? The baby asking the big sister.
All right. So I think it's just like obviously you guys are so busy and you host so many events. But what's like your favorite event that you do? Like what's something you do and you're like, "Oh my gosh, this is like my favorite event that we do of the year." That
I
you
have
like look
two.
forward to.
One I would say is Purim, because we throw big Purim parties, and like I said earlier, we do theme parties, and so I feel like a lot of times, like Shabbos, you like it's not that or classes, not that it's the same all the time, but it feels like it's like by rote, or you have to, like rotation, like doing the same type of things. We do different theme Shabbat, so every Shabbos we do a different like food theme or decor, depending, but it kind of like feels the same. And Purim, we like to do like a different theme every year. So it's for me, it's exciting to be able to use my creativity and like come
Do
up
we
with
know the
like
theme for this
different,
year?
what? Not yet, not yet. We're working on it. But
What
just
were some of
like,
the themes you did?
um, game day Purim, because we're at USC. This past year was because it was going into Shabbos. We wanted costumes that looked beautiful that you could wear on Friday going into Shabbos, because we did like a meal before as well as Thursday night. So we did a royal Purim, and we all were like like kings, queens, princesses. Um, we've done Wild West. We've done clowns, like we've done in the wild, in the jungle,
Harry
under the
Potter.
sea, Harry Potter. So lots of fun themes. The other thing is our Shabbat 1000. It takes a lot of work, because the way I actually do it is where I message so many students and ask them to be table hosts, and then get them to host their friends for tables, and then they bring their friends. So it ends up being amazing. So it takes a lot of work to be able to recruit the students, and then I message everyone. So I really message thousands of people to be able to pull it off. But then when you have that Shabbos with everyone together, the energy, I wouldn't say in the room because we do it outdoors. We did it actually in the fraternity next door's parking lot, and sometimes we've done it where we close our street, and we did it in the outside, just down our whole block. It just is such an amazing evening of Jewish pride that like it makes it all worth it.
I mean, the pictures from Shabbos 1000 are like incredible. Like bird's eye view of just people. Like it's unbelievable. I mean, we spoke about
Baruch
Esther's
Hashem.
big wedding of 1,500 people and the logistics, and she was just going on, shuffling people from the chuppah. So to really gather like 1,200 Jews sitting in your parking lot and cooking for it, because P.S. this lady does not cater food. So it's amazing, and we are all so amazed and so proud of everything that you do and continue to do.
Thank you. And thank you guys always for always being so supportive of a family and always coming out. For always, it means a lot to me.
Well, truth is, our experience growing up at Shlichus was really Runya's Chabad house. It was that campus. I think that's what we knew as Shlichus. We kind of always went to your Chabad house, but some of us didn't end up on, none of us ended up on campus Shlichus, and we had different Chabad houses of our own. So let's hear like different styles. We touched on.
I wanted to say that when I lived in LA, one of my favorite Shabbosim was coming to Runya for Shabbos 1000. I would say, David, it's Shabbos 1000, let's run. And he's like, run the other way. Like, there's so many people, I don't want to be there. And I'm like, no, no, let's go. But it was always incredible to watch what you, Dov, and your family pulls off.
Truth is, it's funny because after I got engaged to Naftali, we were just saying like, do you know any of my siblings or different things? And he's like, I didn't know any of your brothers, but I spent Shabbos 500 at your sister Runya. So it was then when you were hitting the
And he did the
500.
chauffeur
He
factory
did the
for us.
chauffeur factory, and out of all the kids,
So when his name came up, I'm like, I know him.
Farmer Joe, you said it right away. And he remembered your Menachem. He said the little boy with the huge green eyes right in the front. So he's like, don't know the brothers. I met your sister. She talks a lot. But
He should have known there was a podcast in the future. We all talk a
he's
lot.
like, she kept us busy a whole Shabbos, you know? But he really enjoyed that
That's so funny.
experience. And that was when it was 500. And now we're up to 1,000. And I'm sure soon enough, we're going to be hitting 1,500 going higher. So that's amazing.
Runya, do you have like any idea like how many students you've met over the 25 years? Like in a community, it's like the same people, it grows a little bigger and smaller.
Right.
Like you, population changes every 4 years. So it's a tremendous
That
amount
I
of
would think
people
is
you've met.
probably one of the challenges I do have, in that, like, in a way, it's amazing that we get to meet so many people, but it's really hard that people leave and they become part of your family. And then, like, you're so used to them being next to you and then they leave. And so it's beautiful that we get to meet new people all the time. And, like, but I'm like, sometimes I'm like, I don't want to meet new people. I like my old friends. But I don't really know. I don't know if we calculated. Probably have to look at the data, in our database or something, how many people we've actually met over all the years. Baruch Hashem, definitely a few thousands for sure.
Right. Because how many
Um,
incoming Jewish students come in about every year that you try to meet?
um, there's typically, I would say it's about 10% of the school. So about like 400, 500 Jewish kids, typically, like, our incoming class.
Wow.
About 400 Jewish kids.
That's amazing. Truly. It's like we know it, we live it, we see you doing it, and hearing it, it's still like it's just wow and awesome. We want to also hear a little bit of not campus, just other types of shluchas that you could, people move out nowadays for all different things, community, small town, people go out for friendship circle. In our family, we had a touch of quite a few different like type of communities. So Adla, you lived in New Jersey for 15 years in a beautiful
I did.
community, a very vibrant Chabad house, beautiful shul, pretty busy weekends in between, and you also commuted a lot of that time. So tell us a little bit about your community in Jersey and how was it balancing New Jersey and New York living all in one?
So I think the thing that like Ryan keeps saying about shluchas is like there's really nothing more fulfilling than having a Chabad house where you meet people and they become part of your family. I had people that I met in New Jersey that I spent so much time with. It's literally as much as I would spend with anyone I know because it was every Shabbos for, Shabbos in, Shabbos out. It's week after week, it's day after day. So there's something really beautiful about that connection. And especially when you don't live around your own family. So these, your neighbors and your friends become your, I think a New Jersey family. And I love that so much. And I miss them. And it was a small town, which I think for me was a little hard just because I was a big city girl. So I did feel the need to like go back and like see people. I remember the first few years when I lived in New Jersey, I used to walk with my double stroller and everybody would do the same thing. They'd roll down their window and say, "Are you lost?" I'm like, "I'm not lost. I'm trying to find people. Like, I'm from New York. I need to see somebody." And it's a different setting in suburbia. Like, it's a very different type of life, amazing shopping, but harder socially. And once I got settled, though, I really, I loved being part of it. I loved planning the events. I did have a challenge where I think, Runya, you have an advantage here. You had a lot of support. Like, I feel like your Chabad on campus shluchas are another like draw in your shluchas and really help you.
Yeah, the Chabad on campus family is pretty amazing. And especially, I know, we have a network here in LA where we try to get together and do stuff together. And it really, really, it makes such a difference in your life. You don't feel alone.
While when you're in your own small town, you're a little bit alone. It's like everyone's running their own one man show. And that's a challenge because in a big organization, people take care of everything, and in a small town, you are the photographer, the event planner, you're the secretary, you're setting up, you're the cook, you're doing all that on your own. So it is very labor intensive, and it does take a lot out of you. And it's just you and your spouse. So that's that's a wonderful thing. But it's also, and we talked about this in the date night episode, like it is a challenge working just, the two of you. Chabad on Campus, Runya, is as much you're working together, everyone does their own events. It's the same thing where you guys are really, partners.
You're basically a team. You do everything together. I think we try to find our strengths and our weaknesses. Like I'm a lot more extroverted. My husband's a little more introverted. And so I'd be like the one more meeting people and like tabling and saying hi. And like, come meet my husband. He loves to give classes, have an intellectual conversation. And so like we try to like team up that way and tag team together.
So I think in a small town, the beautiful thing is the people stay unless they move, and you get to have this wonderful family. But in a way, it's slower and it's smaller, and
right, it's one person at a time.
One person
family at a time.
People having big events, and you're like Shabbos 1000, and I'll always be like, we're Shabbos 10. That's it, happening right now. Shabbos 10 in our thing, like as a joke, just because those numbers, you don't get that. It's a different, it's different dynamic. But I loved running shul. I really enjoyed that piece of being part of that. The people, the connection.
You were really, though, come on. You didn't have Shabbos 10. You did amazing women events. You like had put on the most beautiful like challah bakes. Like everyone in your community, you were like you're their star. You made them those beautiful Shabbosim always.
We love them, but I did do the commute. And if anybody's ever commuted from
really
New York to New Jersey, knows that's it's not a smart move ever. Don't do it. Like the tolls, and it's very, very hard because you want your kids. And Nini and I will discuss this all the time because we used to be on the phone all the time speaking to each other. Okay, you homeschool and I commute to get to school. It's like which would you rather, but in the reverse, like whose life is worse right now? Like, do you want them home or is it worth the 1.5 hour drive? Other people could weigh in. Which would you rather?
It's true.
I'm not sure what's worse, but I'm pretty sure it's still homeschooling, but I don't know for sure.
Thank you. I'm winning. Yeah.
I'll give my vote also to homeschool.
I know when I lived in New York before we moved to Texas. Like I said, we grew up as girls going to Runya, but once I got married, New Jersey, Springfield was our home away from home. We loved coming with our little boys and joining for Shabbosim, and Adla and Mendy always had an open home. And like Runya said, also a beautiful Chabad house. She's joking with Shabbos 10. It was more like Shabbos 100, where people would come Friday night, Shabbos day, and really, everyone in your community, I still feel like I'm part of their family. Everyone's just warm and welcoming, and it's still beautiful to see it. You guys are not there, but you're still kind of overseeing everything, and you're not saying it, but Adla still goes there all the high holidays and all the big major holidays, and still for events and different bar and bat mitzvahs, and continuing to watch her Chabad house that she put so much work into and love into, still watching it grow. And
there's nothing like building something up on your own. It's just, like each and every person, like you said right in the beginning, each and every person has a story. And I was very lucky because I think, Nini, this is the difference. I mean, we come to you a lot, so it's probably not even the difference, but I was very close to New York. So my family, everyone knew. So, Hesha worked for me in Hebrew school for a couple of years, and the people still ask about her. They need to know all the details. And, Menucha and Mommy and Tati would come for Yom Tov, for the menorah lightings, and for Shavuos. So everyone in my community comes for weddings. So it really became part of the life, and it becomes your family on Shlichus, which is, in Texas, I mean, like people know when we're coming. And when you are in a small town, you get to really know everybody. So there's a perk.
Well, I did set up Mendy and Dini, our brother, but they could continue your Chabad house and flourish.
Yes.
Yeah, they've done amazing things with it. Mendy, we know you listen, and we are just beyond proud. He's been able to do things that we couldn't do, and he's actually the most dedicated, so involved, and really just gives a tremendous amount of nachas to just see how much he's able to take what we've had and grow it even more.
Ayla talking about New Jersey like a small town really makes me question where I really live because We'll take Shabbos 10 then, and I don't know, divide that by something else. But I'm here. So Runya was the star on campus. Ayla did big on community. I ended up somewhere where I never expected to, a place in Corpus Christi, Texas. Yes, where I homeschool, and that was like a no. But like they say never, because that's usually what ends up happening. Um, but I'll give just my little take here. So again, yes, it's, when you're in a small place, it's like we're a little bit of everything. We don't have like a big community, so we have three on campus and two teens and two kids for our Hebrew school. We call it a miracle minyan because thank God we do pretty much get a minyan every Shabbos, but every week we don't take it for granted. We're like a pool of 20 men, and thank God we get 10 of them to come. But we have a nice women's group, and then we still get together every Shabbos, have a beautiful kiddush, and we love doing events also, women's events, kids events, family events. We really are two people kind of doing a little bit of everything, which is, we love it. But we also, different years, you get to see what works. We have, thank God, a few Israeli families here, and their kids were our Hebrew school for a few years. Then they became our teens for a few years. Now they're the college kids. So some years we have certain programs that we have more of a pull to. Some years, different dynamics change. And we really feel like when a couple or a family comes and leaves, when they come, it's huge. It's like another Jewish family. It's amazing. When they leave, we definitely feel it. Every person's like a superstar here. The perks of small town is you really, like you said, you really get to know everybody on a personal level, on a deep level, and everyone's really cherished. Especially, I guess, when you talk about a minyan, it's like, talking about voting today, but it's like we tell people, like, they could always be the 10th man. So it's not like, oh, just someone else could show up. We really need you. We really need them. Um, but like Adla was even saying, like, it really is just me, my husband, it's Naftali. We're kind of the everything, from the cook to the fundraisers, to the program directors, to the homeschoolers, to whatever is happening.
I think a lot of people see the beautiful events people put out, and like you
Yeah.
only see their end results, right? That's what people put out on social media, but like there's so much work that goes behind it, and there's so much about shluchas that it's not so glamorous, so you don't always share it, and people don't know it. But having lived it, and I mean, Mushki, you were part of a Chabad house for also 7-8 years, and Hesha, you're like a member of a Chabad house, because where you live, it's a Chabad house community. Like, when I go to the Kinus, all I look around and think is like, everybody here works so hard. Some people see shaitos and people are way, and I'm just like, these are the hardest working women in the world. And like, I work another job, so I know what it means to work hard in terms of a job, but like, there's nobody like shluchas and what they do, and how they just don't stop.
Right.
It's
You're
it's
so right,
really.
Adla. I feel like also when people see people like after being there some 25 years and they see a big, beautiful Chabad house and they see everything being like, oh, tons of people coming, they have no idea the struggle that it took till you got there. How in the beginning there was like no money. Everyone has to work 5 different jobs just to be able to put, literally like food on the table. I remember when we first moved, we lived in one area in Pico because our neighborhood was a little sketchy. It got a little better, but it's not. And I was scared to live here. So we rented a Chabad house and would come for Shabbos, but we didn't have extra money for extra beds. We literally had like a mattress on the floor, and we didn't have insurance in the beginning because it was just so expensive. Um, and Baruch Hashem, things picked up and things grew, but like people never see the struggle. They just see everything beautiful. And like you said, like the big events people post on Instagram, but they don't actually see the day to day life that people living so
Yeah.
far. A lot of them are so lonely, far away from family. People have to send their kids away at very young ages. And that's really hard. I know Nini sending her 2 boys to yeshiva when they're so little. 8th grade is still so little. And there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. I do want to make a little plug. Not called for, but I think I'll just mention it. It is November, so in a few weeks you're going to start seeing all the shluchim doing charity campaigns. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's just giving from one credit card to the next. But really, shluchim could use every bit of money. It's like, even if you think someone has a big campaign, there's so many bills to go pay, and every penny really goes to help the shliach personally, and every donation really makes a difference to them. They feel like a hug, and like from family and friends and relatives all over the world, and whoever gives. So when you see a campaign, you're like, oh my gosh, another campaign, another campaign. You should be like, oh my goodness, wow, I'm really helping a shliach and making a difference in their life. So when you see those charity campaigns, don't run the other way. Say, okay, I'll give my $18, and it'll really make that shliach so happy, and it'll really, really make a difference because every bit is being used to the fullest.
I'm so happy you said that, Runya, because Mendy and I always talk about this when you see organizations all over the world, and there's like a Chabad house is literally the best bang for your tzedakah. It's going straight to the event, straight to the people, straight to the kids. And I'm going to say this, which is a little bit, I don't want to make an announcement or anything in terms of like making what Chabad house is best, but I happen to think that it's just statistics. I mean, Chabad on campus has, in a ways, the strongest effects on the students because they are at an age where they're looking for change. So I feel like that campus shluchas and shluchim, they really, changing the destiny of the Jewish people. That's just a fact. When every time you post on Instagram or social media, a couple got married, and I'm like, okay, that's literally the next generation being saved because this couple met in your Chabad house. It's when you're in a community, it's an amazing thing, and you inspire kids to go to Hebrew school. But by the time they get older, like it's a very small little neshama you have to spark. Like you're meeting people when they are looking for change.
Right. Every Chabad house has, it's like, the ones who are in tourist areas, that's also hard. People coming and going all the time. You're just trying to help them where they are. Chabad houses in small towns are making a difference in each person's individual life. I think everyone is really making a difference in their part of the world. And that's what's so special about shluchas is
more
that
like you get to see maybe the impact maybe stronger. I don't know. Like I'm just
yes.
I guess
I mean, this is a critical age. Right. It is a critical age where people are making choices for the rest of their lives. And like, it's funny because actually just this week, I sent out a bunch of alumni just had babies recently. And I sent out, we make little Chabad USC baby blankets. And it's like the nicest thing ever because like you just see them like moving on, and they're like a Jewish family and having kids. And it's just like so special to be able to see like that they're keeping the traditions and keeping up and like, building the Jewish future.
So awesome. Key, you lived in California for a long time. You taught in school, which you did. And, a lot of people even just move out on shluchas to be teachers or, be in the education. But your in-laws also live there, and you used to help them in their Chabad house. So how was it teaching, our own kids and really also educating the youth, which is a huge shluchas or job in itself, and also being involved in a community?
Yeah, so for I think 5 years, moved into my in-laws. They have a little back house, and we moved there for 5 years. So for every Shabbos, we moved in. So I would be there for Shabbos, and I helped with the women's programs, and Yom Tov programs, and I just like love people. I mean, my mother-in-law had a deal. Let's say for Friday night, she's like, "I'll make all the food, and you talk to all the people." So like. Friday night, different people coming. I just absolutely loved it. The people in Shul. I really, really loved it and enjoyed it. And then with the school, I'll tell you what happened. When I was doing women's programs for shluchim, I was like trying to get people coming to an event, and then you charge like just a fraction of what it really is, and then you have to like beg them to come, and then they come, then you have to thank them so much for coming. I'm like, this is a lot of work. And I was also teaching in the school, and Simi Reichik was like, Mushki, do you want to help me do like a program in the school for the kids and the bubbies? And I was like, wait, like there's like an audience built in. Like, I don't have to beg anyone to come. Like, we just do an event and I already get like hundreds of people. And I helped her with her first bubby event, and we had, it was like hundreds of kids and their bubbies, and their mothers. And I was like, wow, this is like you're doing the work, and people are like already coming. You have that built-in audience, and I just like really fell in love with that shluchus as well. And then like a big part of my heart went to the school and Beis Chaim Mushka and doing events, and we did bubby and Zadie events. And even though I love being on shluchas, there is nothing that warms my heart more than giving and teaching to Lubavitch kids. I feel like I'm just like helping my family. I feel like I'm teaching my nieces, nephews. We're just like one huge family. It never felt like work, and it was really just like also like the combo of both was just amazing.
That is amazing. And really, we need our own. Sometimes we always see the big seating events and the Pakisha events, and we're always like, our own kids need this. So teachers who have that passion and energy and are giving that all to our kids is really amazing.
No, I want to say I was doing bat mitzvah club and trying to make it so cool because you feel like you have to compete with so much. And then I was like, wait, like to them, you'd pull off these big events. To the not religious kids, this is just normal. And I would take a little bit of that and I would do it for the kids in Beis Chaim Mushka and the school. And so we made like big garden parties, like anything you would do for a Chabad house. And the kids were like, oh my gosh, like the effect, they were like, this is amazing. It's like no one's ever did it for us. And there was so much gratitude that it just felt so fun. It's like you're giving a little bit, but the impact, it was like treating almost the school like a Chabad house and what you would have done for them. And there was just like so much gratitude for like every little thing that we did.
I said Mushki actually was my daughter's teacher, and she was the best. She made these Rashi plays and garden parties and bubby parties, like the most creative and fun teacher ever. So definitely, we miss her in LA.
So LA's loss is New York's gain. Um, but yes, anyone who went through Mar Mushki, I'm sure will always say this was my favorite teacher.
I want to say, I feel like Ayla, when you do little perks in your class, like you bring pizza, I feel like you say the same thing, right?
No, I used to say, everyone said, why do you do that? I'm like, because there's an audience here and I give it and everyone's thrilled. And I think the struggle in a Chabad house, which, I don't want to always be the one that's bringing up struggle. So that's not fun. But like, you could prepare the most gorgeous event and like no one could come because that's just what happens when you do community events. I think, remember, Runya, when we came to you once, you had an entire eighth day concert and it was just, I think Mushki and I were there and it was just us. It
I
was
was
the most epic concert. It was like for your birthday and it was a busy day and it was just for us. And I'm like, having our own concert, like epic. And then could you imagine if you brought eighth day to, Beis Rivka, like it would make their lives. So similar where it's like when you're doing it and you see, like how much people appreciate how, what a difference it makes. It's like you learn to take the skill of shluchas and to give it back to our own community. And you do get really nice, payback in terms of the appreciation and how the impact goes.
It's funny that you say that because a lot of times we'll be like, everyone's like, do they give back? And it's like, well, we're begging them to come. They finally come and did us a favor. We have to say thank you for coming. You can't ask for anything else. We're just like so happy people showed up.
I wanted to say, I think the one thing very different in like a very small town versus, let's say, LA and New Jersey is yes, people come to your Chabad house, but sometimes you could feel like, okay, if I don't make this year a Purim party or a Pesach, there are a lot of other Chabad houses or organizations around that a kid could go to. 5 minute drive away, there will be another Chabad house that either they could go or you could even send them, like, we're not available today. You could go over there. That rabbi will put on tefillin with you. But where I live, I guess one thing that keeps us driving or it's that every mitzvah done or any event done, it's like if we weren't here, that wouldn't happen. People wouldn't be putting on tefillin or coming together for Shabbos or doing different things. And especially Hanukkah's coming up, and that's one of our big highlights where we have almost 50 cars driving down, our main street, Ocean Drive, with the menorah on, and you almost forget that you're in a tiny town in middle of Texas, and it's just such Jewish pride, and it's like it gives that energy that here we are so far, so small, but still very strong, connected to everyone else. Big cities give the small energies power connections, but it's really that one-on-one mitzvahs, different things, those small acts that, like if we weren't here, these things wouldn't happen. So I think that gives strength, that it's a driving force that makes you feel like, okay, I am here for a real reason. You're in Tarzana in a really cute like community, and I know people really get together, and the shul's very active, and you do a lot of potluck and fun things. So how is it moving from Crown Heights and being like in a active shul community?
It's such a different experience. Honestly, I feel like in Crown Heights, my community was my family. That was my village and my two friends. And all of a sudden, coming with random people, and that's your community, was such a culture shock, I will say. I feel like it's still a culture shock. All of a sudden, like Menucha and Mushki came, and also they're pointing out things. I'm like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot that like also you're doing Simchas Torah with random people. And it was the first year I don't even think I went to shul because I was like, why would I go to shul with random people? And now I'm just like, oh, it's part of my community. And like there's some like really, really beautiful aspects where you see so much like unity. And then also I am sometimes like a snob where I'm like, ooh, I kind of just miss when it was just my family. But it's also really, really funny because my mother-in-law, when she was looking into shidduchim, she asked Esti Mansuri, she asked like, oh, is Hesha like Runya, where she loves shluchas? And Esti said, yes. And I'm like, LOL. I'm like, there's some lies that people say when they do like shidduchim, but it was just funny because I remember Tati when I was dating, he's like, say that you love shluchas. I'm like, I love supporting my siblings on shluchas. I
Love
never,
that too.
it's just not meant for me. And I'm like, I
I
love.
did not know that story.
She had a few lists. She's like, she has to love kids. I'm like, ew, children. Like I love my own kids, but
Did she already like tell Rabbi Iminder like my future daughter-in-law is gonna come and like help run the Chabad house? Like her family is shlucha central and like she's here to help you.
it was my mother-in-law was just like, I'm so confused. Like, who is this girl that like comes to like Sisters with Runya, loves shluchas, a family of shluchas. Gerishi like runs a Rosh Yeshiva, and I'm like, no, I don't really like random people. I like tend to
I
just hang out with my.
I, I think she also asked Esty if you're as friendly as me because she knows me.
That was it. She asked, do you love kids? She must love kids because Ma has 12 kids. Is she as friendly as Mushki, and does she love shluchas like Adla? And Esty said yes to all of them. And it's the biggest scam of the century because they're not all accurate. But I will say, as someone that is a sister to you guys on shluchas, I am always amazed because really I see behind the scenes, I see like how you guys deal with it and like the day-to-day grind, and I'm just always in awe. That I love supporting in any which way I can. I loved being on shluchas with you, Adla. I was the Hebrew school teacher. I love seeing Runya shluchas. I go from time to time. We spend the Shabbos. I, even on the off Shabbosim, am overwhelmed by Runya's like Chabad house, and she's like, yeah, there's no one really coming. 100 people. I'm like, oh, my introverted side can't deal with it. I'm like so overwhelmed, and this is like an off Shabbos.
You
I don't
came to
even
the
think
Nissan Black concert with a lot
I
of
came. Oh,
people
that
and
was
had
the
a good
best
time.
concert ever. Tell me when you hire them again. It was the best. And then when I see Nini on her shluchas, I'm always like, I don't know how you do it. I'm always just in awe. I would say in awe, and I feel like being someone in a community, Dari always says it's always important that you give your shul. That is what he says, where when we like do the Meister, it's always like you have to give your shul. That is like a big priority. And I'm always like, but I also, my biggest priority is trying to give my siblings, because that is the biggest way I want to support you. Obviously, it's emotionally and in other ways, but I feel like that's like what I love about being a sister of shluchim, where I get to be supportive.
So a special shout out to Nini on Shlichus, who last year got a award from her local women's auxiliary, the Miriam Award. And then Hesha was the sister who went to support. We said, there's got to be a sister there to support. And we nominated Hesha, and she was great. And she went there to cheer on Nini, who was recognized for her 10 years on Shlichus. So that was very exciting.
It's true. And it made a big
And nice
difference because everyone kept saying, is your family flying in? I said, yes, my sister's coming. She's representing us all.
It was really beautiful to see them read that speech.
It was a long one. Menucha. So the little sister who got to observe us all growing up in, all different lifestyles. What's your takeaway? What lifestyle, which community do you vibe with the most? Campus versus community? Or what little bit of inspiration do you pull from watching all your sisters living a life going on shluchas?
I think like Hesha said, because we also were younger, we were traveling around to everyone. So we spent Shabbasim and Yom Tovim by Ayla all the time. We know her community. We visited Runya's. We saw her Shabbasim also. We don't know the students as well just because they're coming and going. But Zainini's community, we really know them. So it's also nice seeing everyone, different styles and different events. We grew up going to every single Hanukkah and Purim by Ayla, the bouncy houses first in the gym, then the menorah lighting. We saw every single fire act there is in New Jersey.
And Pennsylvania.
And Pennsylvania, the tri-state area. But it's definitely seeing behind the scenes is really crazy. You just see everything that's going on and you're like, whoa, these people are doing so much. As you said, it's really inspirational. But it's also fun to see different styles and different events that you guys do just because different crowds. I think I do go with the more community style just because it's more homey. And it really does feel like a family, which I like. But it's nice to see it. I don't think shluchas is for everyone. If my in-laws asked, I don't think anyone would lie like that and say that I liked it.
If the MCATs get too boring to study, then you might end up on shluchas somewhere.
Lade might get residency in some random little city in the middle of the U.S., and then you might be having to help the shluchim out in that area. You never know.
I hope not. But
I remember when I was in North Carolina and there was this random Lubavitch couple there, and I was like, what are they doing here? And they were, I think he was in law school or something, but two people stuck there for a couple years. That's going to be you.
Well, we have a lot of shluchos, but every family needs a doctor. So we are thrilled that the last one joining the family really fit that role. So go Lade.
It's true. And once he's a doctor, we'll support you from New York, 545, where we're comfortable over here. When we travel, all of a sudden we were in Thailand in the middle of nowhere and there's shluchim there and you're like, this is so convenient. No one else has that they can always go somewhere. When we went, we got actually stranded in the airport hotel for the Shabbos, and there was a flight that got turned around because of the war that started in Israel. And the shluchim really came through. They pulled off Shabbos, they sent food to the hotel, and we had a really nice Shabbos there. And you're like, no one else has that. No one else has such a community like that where 3 hours before Shabbos, everyone's helping out, pitching in, and helping each other. So that was really nice to see. No matter where you are in the world, you can always count on each other, which is really nice.
It's true.
Which is amazing of Chabad, that they're really everywhere. We're just touching on 3 little areas, but really you go to any place in the world and you're bound to find a Chabad house there where a couple is there. And especially like you're saying in the Far East or tourist cities, they're on the fly whipping up for people just passing through. And it's really amazing that Chabad has really reached almost every destination, are really there for all Jews, all people, really ready to step up to the game and help out. So that was really the Rebbe's vision, and it's beautiful to see it, to be part of it, and to really see the worldwide reach of what Shlichus has done.
My favorite part was whenever someone in my community would either go to a college, a campus, or travel, and they say, "Do you know the Vlasovskis?" Right? Or they don't say, they say their name wrong, or Adler, Mendy, and the shluchim. If they know you and your cousins with their cousin sister, they say, "Of course we know them," and they're like, "You guys know everyone." I'm like, "Well, we do have." A few hundred first cousins, that helps. So then they know a cousin of a cousin. We pretty much are all connected. But like you said, Manuka, having that network, it keeps everyone connected, and it's other people don't have that, and it's very special.
Okay, wow. It was so much fun going down memory lane, or just really going back into everyone's Chabad house, because I feel so connected to each of your Chabad houses, and the journeys that we've all had together. And it's really beautiful to hear. But like you did say, every Instagram post, you don't really see the prep and the stress and the lead up till where you got to that picture. So, Runya, one last question for you before we go to our favorite Fast Five, which we all love. What would you say? We talked about a lot of the highlights, but what would you say is one of the most challenging parts of your shluchas, or shluchas in general, living a life outside like a regular from community?
Sure. So I did mention a challenge I find is that students move on. And I feel like that's really hard, that like you become friends with people and they move on. And sometimes you feel like people forget you. And like you become like a part of their family and they forget you and they move on. And I feel like besides for that, it's also like I live in a big city, and you would think I have so many friends or so much going on, but we're outside the community. So I'm not invited to any events as part of the community. We're not part of the shuls. And so sometimes like you would think that like, oh, we meet so many people all the time, but it still gets very, very, very lonely. And like you sometimes feel very left out. And I know even my kids feel that. And I could only imagine for shluchim who live in the middle of nowhere, where they're not even like close to any community, sometimes just so hard without having that support network and people around them, like being there for them all the time. And I feel like, so we're really lucky that Chabad on campus does have a network where we get together. And I know sometimes shluchim in small little places have the uparatsta, but day to day, it's not really like every day someone there for you. And so if you have friends or family who are on shluchas, just reach out, send them a little gift when it's their birthday, or something for their kids. It will make all the difference, where they feel like people actually care about them and really like think about them, because having like people that care about you and support what you're doing makes all the difference in the world. Another thing is financially. A lot of shluchim struggle financially. And even though some people think, oh my gosh, you have a big Chabad house, they don't realize when you have 300 people for Shabbat dinner, the amount that it costs, just the food and day-to-day expenses. And also in a small town, online school is not cheap, and living everywhere is not cheap. And so helping shluchim out, just even a little bit here and there, put a little bit, $18 on your credit card once a month. It doesn't hurt you, and it'll make such a difference in someone else's life. And,
I think I also
you're really
saw
getting the bang
that.
for your buck.
I think I saw something just which I thought was really important this week. There was a campaign that, opening your house to shluchim kids, where shluchim, and I think you have this thing when you say like, you're willing to host anyone, right? Anybody that needs a place to go, they come to you, and, they eat by you. But when the shluchim kids are going somewhere else, really important that we, kind of model that and say, make sure that they have a place to go and reach out and make sure they have a home away from home, because shluchim are always giving people, and that's a way to give back,
Right. It's
for their
nice
kids when they're traveling and when they're learning out of town.
when they come for school and different things, and you just assume they have somewhere, but not always do they have somewhere to eat, and that would be really nice. And I just know, like, just finishing this up, like, we're so lucky we're so lucky we
No,
have
I know
each
that
other,
there's
like
kids.
a big group of sisters that we could, we talk to each other, like what you were saying, Runya, like having friends, but especially someone who doesn't have this big built-in group of family or sisters, that extra bit of friend or support really can make the difference.
You have your friends flew in one time just to visit you on shluchas, and someone once sent after Purim their candy, and you said your kids were just in heaven. And I
Yes.
know, like, it's like silly.
What are things people could do, right? As we enough, like, what are things people can do to support their friends and family on shluchas?
It's so important, and it's true. Like the hug that you get when you receive that, right? Like when my kids got that candy, friends coming for a simcha or friends just coming just because, it's amazing. It's huge.
I think even acknowledging their work on social media, I know that sounds shallow, but when you put something out there and people say, look what you've done, and like that feedback, it's nice to hear that as well.
Yeah, when you get those likes, it's like a virtual, like, that's so sweet. She took a moment to stop and like my post or like my flyer, for sure. I get that.
I
Amazing.
love
Well,
that.
this was around the world with the sisters chat. We're gonna go
A birthday for
a
bringing.
birthday Farbrengen, which I love. I can't wait to continue the Farbrengen with my community. Thursday, we're making Dubai chocolates. We're finally getting onto that train. But we're gonna go into the
That's
fast
always
time.
good about finding all the fun things to do, all
Don't
the
get
fun
ahead.
women's events.
One of the questions. So let's see. Are you girls ready? Now we really have all sisters to choose from. So it's extra fun. Okay. Who is most likely to walk into the door at 4 and quickly prepare a gorgeous women's event set to begin at 7 o'clock? We know this one,
Adla.
girls.
Aidla.
Adla,
That was me. That was me.
try true all the time. And gorgeous.
The only the only way we knew how to do it.
Who is up to the latest fads and trends and does events with them?
Nini.
Nini.
I would say also
Nini.
Runya. I'll take it.
Oh,
I was gonna
Runya.
say
Very
Runya.
Runya.
Runya always
Runya.
knows the roaring
No, Nini
20s
is doing
kids.
Dubai chocolate. I'm not even trying.
I'll send you my links after. Who is good and trying to maintain a good family and shluchus balance at the same time? Runya.
All
I
of
think both
you.
of you.
Yeah, both of you.
Try.
This
Nini
is the
also.
feel good for the birthday, Runya. Who is most likely to find good links of items for holidays and share them with the rest of the sisters?
Nini.
Runya.
Right, yeah. Runya and Nini.
Runya and Nini. But
Runya
Runya doesn't
is
send
the link queen, though.
she doesn't send you links. She sends you any link you could possibly need and then makes sure you bought it and checks in.
Follow up.
Follow up. Did you do it? Did you go there?
But oh gosh, I think this one's also going to be not so hard for everyone to figure out. Who is the most organized sister who has all her event details, recipes ready to go on Google Docs?
Runya.
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 Runya, you're going to come on more often now, don't you see?
I know it's such a feel good moment.
Well, it's all true. So that's the truth. And we're so happy that you were able to come on this week. Everyone's going
It
to
was
be
an
like, keep
honor.
her. She should be here for more. So hopefully you'll have a little bit of more time in your schedule where you'll be able to join us again and give us your take. We loved having this birthday convo with you all and life on shluchas and sharing a little bit about all of us. And we hope to see you guys next week on the Sisters
On.
Chat.
Wait, let's teach Runya how to do it.
We can't wait to see you back next week on the Sisters
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 Chat.
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 Good night.
Um,